Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
In 2017, the American publication Forbes magazine ranked Mr. Soros as the 29th richest person in the world, the wealthiest hedge fund manager worldwide, and 19th among the 400 most affluent Americans. Before gifting the majority of it to his nonprofit foundation, his net worth was estimated at $25.2 billion. Continue watching to find out more.
Tere means hello in Estonian, the official language of Estonia. Cherished viewers, I am Maret. The people of charming Estonia are enamored with how you greet everyone with such sincerity and an open heart. May the divine fill your days with joy and peace. Welcome to our program, Successful Refugees and Immigrants Leading the Way, Part 1, the legendary George Soros. For various reasons throughout history, people have been forced to leave their homelands and find refuge in other countries, thus allowing them to rebuild their lives and reclaim their dignity. Others have voluntarily migrated to other nations simply for better educational or economic opportunities. There are countless stories of those overcoming many adversities and succeeding in enhancing their new surroundings with their immense skills and talents. Many have made notable contributions to their adopted countries in the fields of art, economy, education, science, sports, etc. In this series, Successful Refugees and Immigrants Leading the Way, we will profile prominent refugees and immigrants who have enriched the nations to which they have arrived and contributed to the greater good of our world. George Soros is among these outstanding individuals. Mr. Soros, who left his native Hungary in 1947, is considered the founding father of the hedge fund industry and one of the world's most distinguished philanthropists and richest men. Mr. Soros was born to a Jewish family in Budapest, Hungary, on August 12, 1930. They survived the global conflict of the early to mid-1940s that caused large-scale chaos in Hungary, particularly for Jews, through George Soros' father's skillful ways of protecting them and others of the Jewish faith. Life in Hungary in the 1940s was very challenging, and in search of a better future, George Soros became an economic refugee, leaving his homeland for London, UK in 1947. After taking many odd jobs to scrape by, he eventually became a student at the famed London School of Economics. There he earned a bachelor's and later a master's degree in philosophy. During his studies, Mr. Soros was a student of famous British philosopher and academic Professor Karl Popper. In his book, Open Society and Its Enemies, Professor Popper states that the society can thrive only if it allows democratic governance and respects individual rights like free speech. Professor Popper's ideas deeply impacted Mr. Soros' worldview and later his financial and philanthropic activities. Based on his early research at the London School of Economics, Mr. Soros proposed the application of Karl Popper's general theory of reflexivity to the capital markets. He argued that the theory predicts the creation of asset bubbles that do not reflect the true market value of the securities, and that the difference in price can be used to short and exchange stocks. Initially, Mr. Soros' career began with a bank in the UK, and in 1956 he got a work visa to join a brokerage house in New York City, USA. He created his first hedge fund, Double Eagle, in 1969, later renamed as Quantum Fund, and used the fortune earned from the first fund to create his second hedge fund, Soros Fund Management, in 1970. In 2017, the American publication Forbes magazine ranked Mr. Soros as the 29th richest person in the world, the wealthiest hedge fund manager worldwide, and the 19th among the 400 most affluent Americans, before gifting the majority of it to his non-profit foundation. His net worth was estimated at $25.2 billion. Mr. Soros has been an enthusiastic philanthropist for the past 40 years. In 1979, he began his charitable work by offering 80 scholarships to study at Cape Town University in South Africa to black students who had restricted access to higher education due to government policies. Mr. Soros played a role in Hungary's peaceful transition from communism to democracy between 1984 and 1989, and has provided generous financial contributions to support scientific research and universities in Central and Eastern Europe and elsewhere. The financier founded the acclaimed Central European University that has campuses in Vienna, Austria, and Budapest, Hungary. He has given financial assistance to promote peaceful democratization in Russia, post-Soviet, and Central and Eastern European states via his charity, the Open Society Foundations, originally called the Open Society Institute or OSI. In 1996, the entity provided $100 million to universities in various regions of Russia for infrastructure to connect to the internet for enhanced information access. Additionally, he gave money for humanitarian assistance during the conflict in Sarajevo during the early 1990s. His foundations furnished monetary support to Transparency International, a non-governmental organization working to remove corruption in business and government globally. In 2006, Mr. Soros donated $50 million to the Millennium Promise Initiative, organized and led by the esteemed American economist Dr. Jeffrey Sachs, which seeks to end global poverty and hunger. We will now pause a moment for a positive message and soon return with more on Mr. Soros' charitable work. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our program, Successful Refugees and Immigrants Leading the Way, Part 1, the legendary George Soros. In 2017, it was announced that Mr. Soros had transferred $18 billion of his wealth to the Open Society Foundations. In October 2018, Mr. Soros further donated $2 million to the Wikimedia Foundation through the Wikimedia Endowment Program. George Soros has expanded his philanthropy globally by supporting a large number of new efforts to build more responsible, transparent and democratic nations. Today, the Open Society Foundations has funded individuals and groups in more than 120 countries around the world. The non-profit's average annual expenditure is about $600 million. Mr. Soros has received numerous honors and awards throughout his career as a direct result of his work in the financial field and dedication to giving back to the global community. In 2008, George Soros was inducted into the Alpha magazine's Hedge Fund Manager Hall of Fame. This magazine, a publication of a leading financial publishing and information company, The Institutional Investor, provides news and analysis about hedge funds. Mr. Soros was named by the UK-based Financial Times as the 2018 Person of the Year. The newspaper's honor typically reflects the person's achievements. In the case of George Soros, his selection was also related to the values he represents. The Financial Times stated that Mr. Soros is the standard bearer of liberal democracy and open society, and also proclaimed that he overcomes obstacles in spite of the potential roadblocks presented. In April 2019, Mr. Soros was awarded the Ridenhour Prize for Courage. The US-based Nation Institute and the Fertel Foundation created the honor in recognition of American military veteran and investigative journalist Ron Ridenhour, who endeavored to defend social justice. The award is given annually to an individual to highlight their courageous and lifelong defense of the public interest and passionate commitment to equality. In the case of Mr. Soros, the committee of the Ridenhour Prize referred to the financier as a penetrating thinker, creative philanthropist and visionary whose 4 decades of courageous commitment to a just and open society are unparalleled. The committee added, George Soros paved the way for others to follow in criminal justice reform, advocacy for the world's most vulnerable populations, and the strengthening of democratic systems and governments around the world. Our country and our world have immeasurably benefited from his life's work. Mr. Soros has written many papers, articles and books concerning finance, economics and geopolitics. Some of his books are bestsellers, such as The Crash of 2008 and The Crisis of Global Capitalism. These books provide insights into how he invests and engages in business and share his views on economics, globalization, philanthropy and open societies. As one of the modern era's most successful financiers, his views on investing and economic issues are widely followed. For example, in his book The Alchemy of Finance, Mr. Soros provides a theoretical and practical description of financial and economic trends, proposes a new way to understand how capital markets function, and shares how he initiates innovative investment activities. Throughout his philanthropic career, Mr. Soros has always kept one thing constant: his commitment to tackling the challenging problems in the world.
I believe that in philanthropy, one should do the right thing whether or not it succeeds. George Soros.
Even with such a challenging early life, Mr. Soros has made a large contribution to humanity and has left his mark on our world. His story teaches us that even under the most difficult circumstances, we should still be optimistic and have positive thoughts. A big salute to all difference-making migrants, and George Soros in particular, for showing us the enormous potential of those who settle in new lands. Generous viewers, it has been a pleasure to have you with us today. Up next is Tim Co2's Love Will Win, part 8 of 9, on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May you find the inspiration within to openly share your talents and creativity with the world.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/GPGW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/GPGW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/GPGW.
Acara kami menyediakan banyak bahasa. Silakan lihat suprememastertv.com/schedule dan suprememastertv.com/GPGW.